Hope. I wonder if people are looking for hope today. And are they looking for hope in the right places? And if they are, will they find hope? Because we know that hope has a name, and his name is Jesus. I'd love to have a look at that with you just for a few minutes. Firstly, are people looking for hope? The answer to that is yes. We know from our Talking Jesus research that we do with lots of other fantastic partner organisations that people right now are asking one profound question: will everything be okay? That was the question that most resonated with the UK population at large. They want to know, will everything be okay? Why are they asking that question? Well, like you and me, they've just been coming out of a pandemic, then we had a war in Ukraine, then we've had loads of different issues, be it the death of the Queen, leadership problems, and now we've been thrown into an economic crisis. We're facing a cold, and for some people, a hungry winter. And people want to know, is there any hope? Is there any good news in the midst of all this bad news? We, the church, have got hope, and we know his name. His name is Jesus, and we need to offer that hope in ways that make sense to them right now at this time. So we know that people are asking, will everything be okay? What else do we know? We also know that for many non-Christians, as adults, it's a life event that actually makes them, it's the key influence that helps them to come to faith. And if you like, all those things I listed earlier, the pandemic, economic crisis, are like life events that we've all been through together. And if you like, their world has been shaken, and that's why they're more open now to find the hope in Jesus than they were before. How might we offer this hope, and what might that look like? I think there's some really good models that we can pick up from the life of Jesus of how we could offer hope. And there's one story in particular that really resonates with me when it comes to how Jesus offered hope. You'll know it well, I think. We find it in John chapter 4. It's when Jesus stops and sits at a well and waits for an amazing encounter with a woman from Samaria. There are so many things in the story that we can learn about how to offer hope. Number one, though, here is this woman, and she must have asked regularly through her life, will everything be okay? She probably asked it that day because she'd had an absolute history of disasters. She'd been divorced many times, and she was now coming at midday because it was the only time she could go and get water without meeting everybody else from the village and having to deal with the fact that she was an outcast. And in that society, this wasn't her divorcing people because she felt like a new person. This was a disaster because in each time that she would have been divorced by someone, she was being rejected. And now the person she was living with wasn't even willing to marry her. And again, in the society she was in, that was not a positive thing. That would have been really difficult for her. It meant that this had happened to her. It wasn't her personal choice. So why does the God of the whole universe stop at noon and sit on a well and wait to encounter this one woman? Isn't that extraordinary? And that's because of love. He so loves. God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. And his one and only son, when here on this earth, showed us how to offer hope by loving, by waiting, by being in the right place to encounter people at the right time, to offer them in a hope in a way that made sense to them. He sits on this well and he offers hope even when he's tired. If you look at the verse just above, Jesus said he's really wearied from the journey. Lots of us would be like, oh, can't possibly talk to someone today. I'm wearied, I'm exhausted, there's too much on in my own life. I've just been through a pandemic, I've been through an economic crisis. And yet if we see from the model of Jesus, even when we are wearied and tired, we still need to be the people of hope for others. What else do we learn? Jesus offers hope to someone who we really shouldn't have even been talking to in that culture and world. But he's willing to overcome those barriers and stop and offer hope, even though he's not the right gender, he's not from the right race, he's not from the right background. He crashes through those barriers to sit next to this woman and to offer her real living hope. I love this story. It shows me that right now, people are asking, will everything be okay? Just like that woman. And we need to be like Jesus. We need to sit in places where other people are. We need to create some of those spaces and places, and then we need to be in those spaces and places and take the time to listen, to talk, and to offer the hope of Jesus. That's why we did the Talking Jesus research, was to find out more about the people outside, if you like, to find out about where people like the woman at the well are. And we found really clearly that people are looking for hope and answers now. And they're more open now in 2022 than they were in 2015, which just gives us real confidence as a church to reach out now with hope. If you want to find out more about how Hope Together can help you to reach out in hope, we'd love you to come and check out our website today. Find out how you too can be like Jesus, sit at a well in the right place at the right time and offer hope in his name, and offer the hope of Jesus.